In just a few months, Hims & Hers closes its acquisition of Eucalyptus, and in a single quarter, the subscriber count jumps from roughly high 2 million, low 3 million, all the way up to 5 million subscribers. And that will be across 6 countries: Australia, Japan, Germany, UK, Canada, and United States. 450 million in annualized international revenue added overnight, and the stock right now is pricing 0 of it. That is what today's video about, the most underappreciated event in the entire Hims investment story, and the math on why it could be worth $23 per share on its own. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand a few key things. Number one being what Eucalyptus actually is, the brands, the countries, the subscriber base, and why the geographic fit with Hims is almost perfect. The exact financial maths. We're going to cover what 450 million in international revenue adds to the consolidated Hims financials and why that alone is worth $23 per share at a 5x multiple, and why the day Eucalyptus closes is the day Hims stops being an American telehealth company and becomes a global consumer health platform. Let's get stuck into it.
Welcome to the game, it's the instant stocks by Mikhail Kuhar.
But before we do, if you don't know who I am, my name is Mikhail, one of my highest values in life and freedom. And right now in the stock market, I am seeing people suffer. We are down 35%, 20%, 10% on some of the biggest tickers in the space. And if you're in this position, I feel it. I feel your pain, but you need to understand there's a long-term vision at play. And there's 2 different ways you can approach this. One, white knuckle your way through and hold on to those stocks and hope they come back, or hope they do get to where you need them to be, or include a daily investment strategy as well. We're a big believer of the golden rule: 80% long-term holds, 20% short-term in the market. Now, not everyone is equipped with the time, skill set, and emotional reactivity to be able to trade daily in the markets. That's why at X10, we have built an AutoPilot software that allows our team of pro traders on the back end trade completely hands-off for you. Now, if you were to join us back in September, your portfolio would have already had over a 20% realized gain. In just a few months, we have got these numbers for clients. They have portfolios anywhere from 10K all the way up to $500,000 using our software to trade every single day. And that's realized gains. That's liquid in your account that's accessible at any moment. So if you want to find out how our team of professional traders can trade so you are completely hands-off, leverage their skills, experience, and time, just go to x10daytrade.com, click the link below, and I'll walk you through the entire process and also show you why we're so certain in what we do, which is why we have a 100% money-back guarantee. Outside of that, let's get stuck into the video today. Now, Eucalyptus is not a single company. It is a portfolio of digital health brands, each one localized to its own specific market. Now, they collectively serve approximately 1.7 million subscribers across 5 countries. Now, in Australia being the primary market, my home country, Eucalyptus operates the Pilot brand for men's health and Jupiter for women's health and weight management. Australia is where the business was built. It is profitable, it is growing, and it is operating entirely on branded medications. What does that mean for Hims? No compounding gray zone. Approximately 700,000 subscribers just in Australia. Now, in Japan, Pilot has been launching as one of the earliest digital health consumer platforms in the market. 125 million, strong smartphone adaptation in the country, and a cultural tendency to avoid discussing health in traditional clinical settings. Exactly the embarrassment barrier the Hims brand is built to dissolve. And the GLP-1 market in Japan is at the same stage the US was in 2022. Now, Wegovy was approved in Japan in March 2024. The timing could not be better for this acquisition. So if we look over to Germany and the UK, Eucalyptus operates through the Zava brand, a European telehealth platform covering prescription management, mental health, sexual health, and contraception. Approximately 100,000 subscribers in Germany and 120,000 in the UK. In Canada, Eucalyptus has been building clinical infrastructure for a 2026 launch. Now, here's what really makes this acquisition so strategically aligned with Hims right now. The geographic coverage of the Eucalyptus portfolio maps almost precisely onto the markets where Hims has been most interested in international expansion. English-speaking markets with strong digital health adoption, regulatory frameworks that permit telehealth prescription services. Now, Hims did not need to build this from scratch. It bought a fully operational, growing, internationally proven version of itself, right? So the proof of concept is there, and the speed to market just massively increases with this acquisition. So the financial profile of the acquisition is 400 to 450 million in annualized revenue, growing at approximately 20 to 25% annually every year. Now, the acquisition price is up to 1.15 billion. That is 2 to 3 times annualized revenue. So a completely reasonable multiple for a high growth international telehealth platform. So in this graphic here, you can see Australia, 700,000 subs, Germany, UK, USA, Canada launch, and Japan. Across that, all the subs we've currently got in the Eucalyptus acquisition. You can see the number of subscribers across these countries coming up to the acquisition close in mid-2026. Now, on the right-hand side, we've made some projections when you want to see Hims rolling out their targets. This is meeting their targets of 12 million by 2030, right? So what I want you to notice is the gap between 2025 and 2026, how massive that is. That is not organic growth. That is an acquisition adding 1.7 million subscribers in a single reporting period. That kind of jump shows up in headlines. It gets noticed by institutional investors tracking platform scale thresholds and changes the narrative from mid-sized American telehealth company to the largest global consumer digital health platform in the world. So let's look at the financial math behind this, because this is where the market is really pricing it at zero, I believe. The argument starts to become impossible to ignore when you look at this. So when Eucalyptus closes mid-2026, the consolidated Hims financials will include approximately half a year of Eucalyptus revenue. Assuming a June 30 close, that is approximately 225 million in H2 by 2026. Now, the total 2026 consolidated revenue, approximately just over 3 billion. I think our numbers came to 3.025 billion. That is above the high end of the original pre-acquisition guidance of 2.7 to 2.9 billion. In 2027, the first full year of Eucalyptus consolidation, Hims will report the full 450 to 500 million of Eucalyptus revenue alongside the core US business. Core US approximately 3.45 billion. Plus Eucalyptus approximately 487 million, and now that totals 3.94 billion. Now, if we look over at 2028, the core US we're running at is 4.2 billion, Eucalyptus growing at say 20% to 584 million. Now that total amount starts to come to 4.78 billion. So here's the number I want you to really focus on. The Eucalyptus addition alone adds approximately just over a billion, 1.07 billion to the 2028 revenue total. Relative to the US only scenario, at a 5 times revenue multiple, that is approximately 5.3 billion in additional market cap. At around 230 million diluted shares, that is approximately $23 per share. So I want to make sure this comes across. The Eucalyptus acquisition is worth approximately $23 per share in additional market cap at a conservative 5x revenue multiple. The stock is at $20 right now. Now, the acquisition alone at a conservative multiple is worth close to the entire current stock price, and the market is giving it to you embedded in that price for free. Now, after the Eucalyptus close, Hims will serve around 5 million subscribers across 6 countries. No other consumer digital health platform will have a comparable reach across this many markets with this many subscribers. Now, this is not just incremental scale improvement. It is a categorical change in what Hims is. From the largest American consumer digital health platform to the largest global consumer digital health platform. And that alone in the categorization of the company enormously changes the valuation. Now, one of the key reasons is this. You think about what the Novo Nordisk GLP-1 partnership looks like internationally. Australia has approved semaglutide for obesity treatment. The UK's NHS has commissioned Wegovy injectable for weight management. Germany has established reimbursement frameworks for GLP medications. And Japan recently approved Wegovy in March 2024. The international market for Wegovy injectable or pill form is a large or larger than the US market on a per capita adjusted basis. And Hims, through Eucalyptus, now has the clinical infrastructure to distribute all of that internationally. The Novo partnership in the US was worth 46% in a single day. Now, I know we've consolidated a little bit lower than that, but what is the international version of that partnership worth when it extends to 5 additional countries through the Eucalyptus clinical network? That question, I don't honestly believe right now is priced into our $19.38 price point. Now, there's a few reasons for this. Like, it's not 100% signed, sealed, delivered. They haven't closed the acquisition completely. And there is a multiple re-rating argument as well. Global platform businesses are valued very differently than domestic consumer health businesses. See, the market cap expansion that comes from recategorization from a US consumer health company at a 2 to 3 times revenue to a global digital health platform at a 5 to 8 times revenue is worth as much as the Eucalyptus revenue contribution itself. So Eucalyptus gives Hims two things at the same time: the revenue, which adds directly to financial results, and the narrative, which re-rates the multiple completely. Both of these things should expand the stock. So this is the chart I really want institutional investors and also retail investors to see, because this is the bar that changes most things. The chart starts in Q1 2023, right? We can see here just over 0.82 million in Q1 2023. And we can see the growth, like it's almost linear growth the whole way up, all the way to 2.5 million by Q4 2025. And that is consistent execution quarter after quarter after quarter. Now, hindsight's a beautiful thing. If you could go back to Q1 2023, knowing Hims was going to grow on this trajectory, what would your decisions be? Now we're looking at acquisitions across multiple countries and a already proven growing working system added to the 2.5 million subscribers already. So management confirmed the 6.5 billion 2030 revenue target on the Q4 2025 earnings call. If you're listening to that, it was on January 27. Now this chart shows the path year by year, and there is something important I want you to really notice about it. We look at the revenue bars: 2.35 billion in 2025, 2.8 billion in 2026. Now these are estimates following the guiding we've been given on the last earnings call. Now on every bar in 2026 forward, you're going to see the Eucalyptus revenue added on the top of this, right? So the 6.5 billion 2030 target was not set as a US only projection. It was set with the Eucalyptus acquisition as a component. Management was not projecting 6.5 billion from just the American side of the business alone. They were building towards 6.5 billion with a known revenue base, Eucalyptus. That already exists with known subscriber counts, known growth rates, and the known market positions. Now that makes the target more credible, not less. When a 6.5 billion revenue target relies partly on a business that already generates 450 million annually, you are not modeling wishful thinking. You are modeling a company that is already running, it already has a proof of concept, it is already growing, and it works. So now we're looking at the point of, when Hims first started, they were rubbing sticks together, getting the fire started. Now we have a huge fire, a bonfire going, where if you look at Eucalyptus, is like throwing another log or putting more fuel on the fire. It's already burning, so then it's going to scale much, much quicker. So if we recap all of this, Eucalyptus closes mid-2026, 1.7 million subscribers added in a single quarter, 5 countries added to a platform overnight. That's 450 million in annualized international revenue consolidated into Hims financials. The financial math is clean. At a conservative 5x revenue multiple, the Eucalyptus revenue contribution alone is worth $23 per share in additional market cap. The stock is currently at $19.38. The market is pricing zero of this acquisition into it right now. Now, the strategic math is equally clear. Hims stops being an American telehealth company. It becomes one of the largest global consumer digital health platforms in the world. 5 million subscribers, 6 countries, clinical infrastructure in every major market where the branded GLP-1s are approved and growing. Now, the potential to extend the Novo Nordisk distribution partnership internationally as well. And they get to just run on the tracks that Eucalyptus has already laid down and already built. Now, the day Eucalyptus closes is going to be a catalyst, not because it is a surprise, but because the financial media will cover it. Institutional investors who track platform scale thresholds will notice the subscriber count crossing 5 million. Then the narrative shifts. Retail investors will also notice once we get headlines and these things coming out. The market is giving you right now a future predictable event which is calculable in meaning value, embedded in a stock price that is not priced in. This is my thesis around Eucalyptus. It's not financial advice. This is my opinion. These are the numbers we're running on. This is all built off all the data we've been able to gather across everything going on, Eucalyptus, Hims, and making projections on what they're currently doing. So if you're interested in the Hims price and what's going to be happening, whether it's a short, medium, or long-term hold for you, for me right now, the way I'm looking at this is a 3 to 5 year hold for me. So if we get price action in over the weeks and months, to me, I'm not too concerned about it. I'm looking more at the structure, the foundation, the financial economics behind it, and making decisions from there. So if you're looking to keep up to date with everything that's happening in Hims, make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that we do on YouTube. It really helps the channel and it helps this get to more people if you do believe in Hims. And also, if you are hanging around to the end, that means you are my homies. You are here for the long run. I am launching a new channel soon, so I'll be sharing that up here. We've got another stock we're going to be covering in depth, and I'm going to be keeping you up to date with that. But as always, I will see you in a video tomorrow.